I won't be leveling up my stamina or my endurance and vitality too much more throughout the game. Well, maybe my vitality, but not my endurance. I'll probably keep that at a point that I'm comfortable with and stay there. Now, let's see. Since I've put more endurance, well, there's nothing really good to use. Yeah, I don't really have anything good to put in an offhand. So that was kind of pointless, except for the stamina. That's really the only thing I wanted it for, was stamina anyway. Okay, so let me think about how I want to do this. Yeah, I'm gonna just make a run for it. If you stand right here and just wait, the Drake will eventually say, "Fuck you," and he'll jump over here. See? You want to start running pretty much as soon as he jumps. And then run into here quickly. And then light the bonfire. And yeah, you're good. I picked up the important thing there, which was the claymore. I won't be using claymore on this character, but I wanted to pick it up anyway. So I'm not really too familiar with the winged spear. It seems like the... Let's see, it's got its thrusts. There's its strong thrust. That's a pretty cool move. That's the rolling attack. Let's see what the dashing backstep attack is. That's a nice thrust. Jumping attack. Jumping thrust. Also a jumping thrust. Okay, most of the attacks are pretty much the same. This little area is the sunlight altar. I'll come back to that later and show more of it. And yeah, the dragon isn't there right now. That actually does give me enough time to grab that and then run the fuck back in here in case he shows back up, like, immediately. Anyway, there's no need to rest at that well, I guess I should rest at this bonfire, to be honest. I need to set a checkpoint there. Now, let me kill this guy first, and then I'll show you something. Alright, so right here, this ladder, I'm not going to go down it, but that's where all the rats were. So, I've just gone to the same place without having to deal with the rats down there. I just had to move very carefully to go across the bridge. Also, you can use that little trick that makes the Drake jump over at you at the middle. You can use that trick to try and cut off his tail. All I have to say is don't do that, though. That's pretty dangerous. Also, there's a Black Knight at the top of this stairwell. He's got a two-handed sword. He does quite a bit more damage than the other guy. I'm not even going to worry about him. He's not guarding anything particular. He's just there. You can try to get his sword. I'll kill him later, eventually, but I'm not going to worry about him now. There's not much of a point to killing him. So, this area this is one of the first really challenging areas, and I say challenging in that you have to look at it and really think of what you're going to do. Because there's a few different ways you can do this room, or this courtyard, whatever you want to call it. You also notice I'm doing a little bit less damage to the enemies. They have more armor for whatever reason. So, excuse me, I accidentally bumped the mic there. So, you can either meticulously go through and take out the enemies here, which is probably the safest way to do it. Or, if you look in the very back, you can see one lone hollow soldier just kind of standing, chilling out back behind the boar, right? If you run super fast, you can get back there where that guy's at, and there's a gate mechanism that you can try to... Essentially, once you aggro things in there, that guy runs back and closes the gate, so you can't get back there. What you can try to do is to try to just run and meet him back there really quickly and try to just handle the situation from back there. It's a bit more of an aggressive way to do it, and if you're new to the game, that's probably not the safest way to do it. Who dares wins, so we're going to try it once. Okay, that failed. Failed pretty horribly. Gonna chill out back here. Okay, and we're going to try to take out the boar as best as we can. One thing about the boar, you can, if I can get it the right angle, I can backstab him, but he's not letting me. There he is. Yeah, just stab it right in his butt. That's really annoying. There's pretty much a safer way to do this. But, you know, I'm not going to be having any of that, apparently. There we go. That finishes him off. That was the worst way to go about doing all of that. Whatever. Got the job done. I'll show you the idea behind doing it the safer way, I suppose. So, you see, I just kind of, like, completely ignored this guy. There we go. I really thought that guy would have died in 3 slashes. It's pretty bad. Okay, now this situation, as you can tell, is pretty annoying because we got this spear guy, and we got these 2 guys doing crossbows over here. But that's about the best way to handle that, is to just take out the crossbow guys. Since the spear guy's just sort of gonna, you know, do his own thing. And then we got this guy, just trying to make things a little bit more complicated. That was not meant to happen that way. Ugh, I can't believe I died like that. That is absolutely ridiculous. I thought I'd gotten over all the bad stuff. Well, doesn't matter. We've got the bonfire right there. The boar is it's not a permanent enemy, so he doesn't respawn. However, the gate's closed now, so we cannot go through there. Which is somewhat unfortunate, to be honest. But, you know, we'll get around to it soon. Main problem was just getting stuck on the sword and the spear guy up here. Wow, did not mean to fall. Oh, at least those guys jumped off too. And that guy's gonna drink some Estus. Great. I don't think I've showed that off at this point, but yes, some enemies can use Estus and will heal themselves. It becomes more apparent in this area of the game as opposed to the very first area. Ah, come on. There we go. As you can see, we can't get back there. Not right now. We can get back there later. It doesn't completely close off that area to you. It's just, if you can get back there early, then it kind of has a nice little reward to it. So, let's pick up this item over here. This is how you kill the boar the safe way. Those alluring skulls, when thrown, certain enemies will be attracted to them, mainly just the boar. And if you throw it, without falling off, if you throw it around this fire, then the boar will go over here and actually get burned by the fire. It's, like I said, it's about the safest way to do that. So the way to proceed, since we've closed off that gate now, is to just go this way. You don't want to go too far in here. As you can see, there's guys. Stamina runs out quite fast with this setup. I'll try to get something soon that maybe will help that out a little bit. Oop. But things seem to be, oh, what? I had my shield up. That was weird. Things seem to be running a little bit smoother now that we got the spear. Hopefully we'll also be getting a new shield soon. And it's a good thing I took the extra endurance because it is going to be heavier than our current shield. As you notice, my counter in the top left has 2 on it. I'm at... Oh, I almost forgot about this. I'm at 2 humanity. I've just kind of picked it up naturally from enemies. It's sort of... You know, sometimes they'll just drop it naturally. It's pretty rare, but I've been pretty lucky, I guess. I'll be using all of that at the next bonfire that we get to. For right now, I'm just kind of gonna let it sit there. So we got a fog wall here. Remember, they're not always bosses, and this one isn't a boss. It's just a fog wall. As you can see, that's where we were earlier. Now, I'm going to just kind of creep up on this guy and see if we can't backstab him like we did the Black Knight. Can't see him too well. Okay. Now I can actually see what I'm doing here. When he has his sword out like that, don't attack him. He will parry you. And you can see he'll drink some Estus there. Wow, he came out of that animation really fast. I was not expecting that. That should do it, though. Those guys are a lot easier if you have the Drake sword that I was talking about earlier. But if you have your normal weapons, you really just want to go for the critical hits on them. That's going to do you the most damage. More spear wielders, which are annoying. They're just annoying because the kick mechanic is annoying. Okay, top ourselves off. Now, this little bit can be a bit frustrating because there's an enemy right there. It's a spear wielder, and there's another one of those guys that we just saw a minute ago, but he's wielding a different weaponry. A different weaponry. Sorry, my grammar's just gets all mixed up. So I just mainly wanted to pull that guy, lead him up here to where I've got a little bit more room to fight him. This guy's not so bad compared to the dude with the rapier. Main reason being is because he's not going to parry you. He'll kind of just take his time. You just want to catch him out, backstab him a couple of times, he's dead. He didn't drop anything today, which is sad. But we're finally almost to another bonfire. But first, we'll step over here. Yeah. This is that gate we couldn't open earlier because this guy came back here and closed it. You can see there's a key here. Yeah, I understand it's here. There's a key here that we'll use later. And a halberd, which, to be honest, halberd is pretty dang good. Let's see, I would need another point, I don't know, another 3 points in strength to be able to use that. So, we probably won't focus on that, we might use it later. Halberd is straight up one of the best weapons in the game. Oop, this guy got aggroed. He's being pretty aggressive. That's not very typical. Oh, hey! That's a pretty rare drop. So those guys are called Balder Knights. They do sometimes drop this, the Balder Side Sword. And a lot of people really like this sword. And as far as like the straight swords go, it is really good. It's got a very fun moveset. Okay, now this part's a little bit trouble, but you want to kind of stay back here in this corner. I mean, you don't want to get cornered, but you want to stay back in the corner, out of the line of sight of the crossbow guy. For some reason, I thought I had that guy targeted. So many light crossbows. Alright. So just beyond here is our next bonfire. And that sound. Ah, that sound. We're about to run into the second blacksmith of the game, who's really going to be most people's first blacksmith. Yeah, I'll go ahead and rest here. This is Andre.
Well, I'm Andre of a store if you require smithing.
So, we can, repair our stuff, just like with Rickard. We can reinforce our weapons and reinforce our armor, all that good stuff. He's got a gesture we can learn, which is pretty cool. But unlike Rickard, he actually has the stuff that we can use to reinforce our stuff, our weaponry. And he's got all this which you can use to buy to reinforce a bonfire on your own, which is very handy. Now, we'll probably be running into some actual Titanite shards, but I do want to go ahead and reinforce, so... Is it 6? No, I want to pick up... I want to get 7 of them, actually.
Go get yours.
So, where do I have? Yeah.
Well, hello. You need it?
Okay. So, we'll go ahead and start upgrading the spear.
Go get yours. Nine.
Okay. Well, I've still got more souls I can pop. I typically... This is a little bit of a spoiler for later in the game, but typically I don't use these if I'm planning on going with not even the good ending. If I'm just planning on not invading with the character, I won't use these because there's basically, if you decide to become an invader, you won't get the chance to talk to this NPC, which will technically buy things from you, though you don't actually sell things to this guy. He just eats them, and then you get souls out of them. For some reason or another, these actually give you less souls than if you give them to him for him to eat. You'll actually get more out of them, so I usually don't like to use them, but I'll use 1 or 2 here just to help get this built up.
Need it.
I was a little off on how much I needed for the
Go get yours. Nine.
for the +5. So I guess I will go ahead and pop these. I might as well treat this character like it's going to be an invading character. So I suppose I will show it in that path and won't show the alternate path.
Well, need.
Oh yeah, that's right, I had to buy more of this stuff first.
Go get yours.
Okay, looks like I'm going to pop 1 more to get that +5. Oh, thank you, whoever did that.
Well,
It's not going to matter much because I'm going to kindle that bonfire up there anyway.
go get yours.
Okay, if you didn't pick up the Drake's Sword, you really do want to try to go ahead and get whatever your main weapon is up to +5, whatever kind of weapon you're using right now. I recommend using the halberd. Any character. I don't care what it is. Just get the stats, use the halberd, put it up to +5. You will not regret it. It's an amazing weapon. So, actually, I'm going to do a couple of things first before I kindle that bonfire. So I will make use of this additional Estus flask that I have for the moment. Okay, so these guys have respawned, as should be expected. Doing a lot of damage now on a backstab. Normal attacks, they won't kill in one hit, but they'll do a lot. That guy was hurting. Yeah, 2 hits take those guys down now. It's pretty comforting. That guy, you gotta take him on. He won't respawn. He's not too terribly difficult. As you can see with the +5 weapon, we're doing some pretty decent damage to him. I need to let my stamina regen some. You cannot backstab or parry this, or excuse me, you can parry the guy, but you cannot riposte him. And you cannot backstab him. I should have showed off the parry, but it's no point. Okay, next thing I want to do in here... Do I want to go ahead and take out that guy? No, I want to grab this first. Firekeeper Soul. And I'm going to go ahead and get my Estus flask upgraded. So what am I going to do? I'm going to hop in this elevator right here. This will give us a shortcut to Firelink Shrine, which is super handy. And on my way down, I'm going to walk across here. Ooh, almost didn't make that. Main reason I'm going to walk across here is because I want to grab no, I apparently just want to fall down and not get anything. That's... What was I thinking? What was I thinking? It's okay. I can salvage this. Look at that, no damage. Well, while I'm down here, I'll go ahead and get my Estus flask upgraded, and I'll give that a try again. We haven't gotten anybody new to move down here to Firelink yet. It happens. Okay, so now we have a +2 Estus flask. We're a little bit ahead of the game. Petrus is still up here, being Petrus. Okay. Let's try this again. So I don't know what I was thinking before. You don't want to go that way to get up there. You want to go this way and then roll over onto the roof to pick this up. Undead Asylum, West Key. Also, I completely forgot about this earlier. Oh yeah, I was trying to think, there was something I was forgetting. Yeah, so that key we just picked up, it's for the Undead Asylum. How do we get back to the Undead Asylum? Well, if you go on up that stairwell to the top, you can hook back around and you'll find a giant crow's nest. If you just lay down in that crow's nest for a while, the crow will pick you back up and take you back to the Undead Asylum. I will be doing that later, because there's a boss to fight there. Yes, another boss to fight there. and a couple items to pick up, and some mini-boss type guys to fight as well. Okay. So now we're back in this area. We want to try and fight this guy. Let me just try to lead this guy down here. There's no point trying to fight him on the stairs. That's an annoying spot. Yeah, there's a lot of just circling around behind enemies to backstab them. If you know what you're doing. If you don't, then you're going to probably spend a lot of time standing in front of enemies with your shield up. But you don't want to keep your shield up too much. You'll just run out of stamina really easily that way. But that guy makes this area a bit of a pain the first time. But thankfully, we've got the spear, which makes it pretty easy to take out some of those guys. Actually, I'm going to go ahead and top myself off. I'm a little bit worried about this section. See, that guy uses magic, which will go through my guard. And he's apparently just content to sit back there and be absolutely annoying. Just had to make this frustrating. Just had to. I don't particularly have anything to use since I used all my fireballs before. Yep, that was pretty bad for a second. Trying to take out these little hollow guys first. Okay, got him. And he didn't feel like dropping anything nice for us. Oh well. So, thankfully, after killing that guy one time, he'll be gone. He won't spawn again. Alright, we do a lot of damage to those guys now. There's a reason that there's a message in front of that little wall, by the way. But we'll come to that in just a second. We just want to grab this item first, which is just humanity. Yeah. Okay. Break this wall. And, hey, there's a guy up here. If you remember, we picked up a key earlier. I didn't talk much about it. I'm sorry. It wasn't the basement key. It was called a mystery key.
Oh, then I am, as you can see,
We can use that key to open up and let him out.
Thank you. Yeah, I am Knight Lord I truly appreciate this.
So he'll give us a reward later. Usually there's a message around him that says something like liar. I wonder why they would put a message like that in front of such a nice guy. I mean, he seems like a really good fella. He's using that golden armor after all. Anyway, he'll return to Firelink Shrine soon. Back up this way is the boss door, but I do want to run back and do a couple of things at the bonfire first, so yeah, I'll have to fight through some of these enemies again. Oh well. It's not a big deal. just want to show off a couple of things. If you're wondering why those enemies had respawned, even though I hadn't rested a bonfire for a while, for whatever reason, going back to Firelink Shrine is sort of like resting in a bonfire, and it'll reset the enemies.